Hello friends, welcome to Bharat Raghu's another new reel. Today we would be continuing a study on Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. We will continue the research and look at aspects of his life, look at aspects of his politics. So today we would be analyzing this book, Bose, uh, by, of course, the Untold Story of an Inconvenient Nationalist by Chandrachur Ghosh. Of course, one of the founder members of Mission Netaji, the entire fact-finding, organization. But yeah, we will be looking at this book, Bose, the Untold Story. In this, there are some experts. So the topic we would be looking at today is Gandhi versus Bose, not like pitting one against the other, but trying to understand what were the reasons due to which Subhash Bose actually had to leave the Congress. So let's look at this. So this Subhash Bose in the Tripuri Congress, basically, he wins the Congress presidential election against Sita Ramaiah, who was the candidate from, you can say, nominated by Mahatma Gandhi. So Mahatma Gandhi's candidate, or the continuing the Gandhian Congress versus Subhash Congress. So Gandhian Congress's candidate was Sita Ramaiah from Andhra Pradesh. And when the final ballots were counted, so we had 1580 delegates who had voted for Subhash and 1377 for Sita Ramaiah. So Subhash actually won a decisive victory, mainly from the provinces Bengal, Punjab, UP, Karnataka voting heavily for Subhash, and Andhra, Bihar, Odisha, Gujarat voting for Sita Ramaiah. Of course, so once Bose defeats Gandhi's official kind of candidate, what does Gandhiji write? So Subhash Bose has achieved a decisive victory over his opponent, Dr. Pattabhi Sitaramaiah. So I must confess, from the very beginning, I was decidedly against his re-election. So he clearly says, this Gandhiji says, he was against the re-election of Subhash Bose. What does he try to point out? So he says that, although he says that Subhash Babu, instead of being the president on the sufferance of those who he called rightists, is now the president elected in a contested election. This enables him to choose a homogeneous cabinet and enforce his program without let or hindrance. So basically, Gandhiji is trying to say that this was kind of a Subhash Bose basically used to the wing which comprised of, you can say, the conservatives in the Congress. The conservatives who wanted to, there were two aspects of it. One is policy-wise conservativeness, which was headed by the Gandhian Congress. So it is Gandhi, Patel, Rajagopalachari, Govind Vallabh Pant. So these were the Gandhian, Kriplani. So they wanted to have negotiated kind of mass movements with the British. So they wanted to, of course, during the World War, they didn't want to push the British too much. So they were kind of convinced that once the British wins the Second World War, India would get its independence, and they wanted to have protests, satyagraha, non-violent satyagraha, and put pressure on the British, but they didn't want mass action. They didn't want like mass agitation, which could turn violent, which could turn armed. So Subhash Bose used to call them the rightists, and the left of the Congress, the left wing of the Congress, was headed by Subhash Bose. Of course, ideologically, as let's go through these points, we will understand who stood where. So that is Gandhiji's position on him. So he clearly says that now that Subhash Bose is elected president, he should have his own program. But then he also goes on to say the minority may not obstruct on any account. They must abstain when they cannot cooperate. And I must remind all congressmen that those who, being Congress minded, remain outside it by design represent it most. Those, therefore, who feel uncomfortable in being in the Congress may come out, not in a spirit of ill will, but with the deliberate purpose of rendering more effective service. So he actually goes on to say, if you cannot work with Subhash as the president in his cabinet, you can walk out. And that's it's a lot of you can see Gandhiji's coldness towards Subhash, and you can kind of see He's kind of boycotting Subhash, although he does say that Subhash Bose is not the enemy of his of this country. He has suffered for it. In his opinion, his is the most forward and boldest policy and program. The minority can only wish it all success. So what he's trying to say is Subhash Bose and Gandhi were like loggerheads ideologically. Now let's see what Subhash Bose says. So to this letter, so what he then says, I do not know what sort of opinion Mahatma Ji has of me. But whatever his view may be, it will always be my aim and object to try and win his confidence for the simple reason that it will be a tragic thing for me if I succeed in winning the confidence of other people but fail to win the confidence of India's greatest man. This is Subhash Bose's words. So he knows, he respects Gandhiji a lot, right? But they are ideologically opposed in terms of the tactics. How do we defeat British imperialism? Satyagraha, non-violent satyagraha versus an armed mass kind of uprising, right? So he wants to, but he does respect Gandhiji a lot. So we can see this. Then there are conversations going on. So who are the people who support Subhash? It is the Congress Socialist Party members and the communists who were also part of the, so the Congress was a big umbrella organization. So the left in the Congress comprised of the Congress Socialist Party, the communists as well, who were also, so for example, let's read out some of the main people. Jayaprakash Narayan. Jayaprakash Narayan was the kind of the de facto leader of the Congress Socialist Party. So Subhash Bose, Jayaprakash Narayan, Ajay Ghosh. Ajay Ghosh is one of the comrades of Bhagat Singh in the HSRA, who later joins the CPI, the Communist Party. So Ajay Ghosh is the a very senior member, the Secretary General and things like that of the CPI. M.N. Roy was supposed to attend. M.N. Roy. So M.N. Roy is the Communist Party's founder. Of course, he is one of the founders of the Communist Party of India. So it is, the left is supporting Subhash. Now, that's what we need to understand. So what is exactly now happening with Nehru? Let's come to Nehru, because Nehru over here, he kind of took a non-aligned position. A non-aligned position meaning that, okay, I don't stand with the rightists, I don't stand with the Gandhian Congress, I don't stand with Subhash. Ideologically, he supported Subhash towards forming a socialist state. A socialist state is what Subhash and Nehru both wanted, but Nehru didn't want to go against Gandhi, and that's a very important. So then there's correspondence between Subhash and Nehru. So they are very good friends. As we understand, Nehru and Subhash had grown close to each other. So in this scenario, Nehru takes a very non-aligned position. So he doesn't come out completely in support of Subhash. And that's, you can say, a sad aspect, which Nehru later acknowledges. Nehru later acknowledges, even in one of those interviews he gives later after becoming the Prime Minister. He gives interviews to BBC, others. So where he says that I should have supported Subhash when he needed. So he's not able to support Subhash. There's a lot of correspondence he's trying to bring. They are trying to have a middle ground in between Subhash and Nehru. But, it goes on, and there is a lot of criticism from Kriplani, Govind Vallabh Pant, all are criticizing Subhash and pushing him towards taking a decision to quit the party. Although he was Congress president, so there was a lot of resistance from the right of the Congress. And we need to understand that why Subhash Bose ultimately had to leave the Congress party. So as he says, now let's just look at a neutral stand. So Jawaharlal Nehru, he was as vague as ever. When faced with a difficult choice, he would be non-aligned. Subhash Babu was quite cynical towards such an attitude and told Nehru that he was an opportunity. So there was a lot of words going on at that point of time. The resolution by the Gandhians placed before the session by Govind Vallabh Pant put the Congress Socialist Party squarely on the spot. If the Congress Socialist Party voted with Subhash Babu and the communists, it was likely that the Gandhian resolution would have been defeated, in which case the Gandhians would be driven out of the Congress. So far as I'm concerned, there was an unthinkable proposition and many of my colleagues shared my view. On the other hand, if we supported the Gandhians, Subhash Bose would be thrown out of the presidency. Jayaprakash was not prepared for this, nor did he want to antagonize Subhash Bose and the communists because he believed in the concept of the left bloc of progressive forces. So, this is the stand of what I was reading is the stand of the Congress Socialist Party. So, what they are saying is they don't want to antagonize Subhash Bose and the communists because they believe in the concept of the left bloc of the progressive forces. At the same time, the resolution of the Gandhians. So the thing is, there was a serious debate on this party getting split between left and the right. The left led by Subhash Bose and the right led by Gandhi. There was a very serious risk. So we will look at the further next sessions of how this played out, and we now understand the reason for Subhash Bose leaving the Congress. It was basically an ideological battle, not personal enmity between Gandhi and Gandhi and Bose, and it was not anything personal, but it was very deeply ideological, and it was on the tactics and strategy. So Subhash Bose finally goes on, as we know, forms the forward bloc. So we'll be reading out more experts, and this is a very interesting book, Bose, The Untold Story of an Inconvenient Nationalist by Chandrachud Ghosh. We'll be looking at more such details. We'll be looking at his selected works, collected works of Subhash Bose, trying to understand the man, trying to understand his thoughts. Hope you like this reel. Thanks for watching. Bharat Raghu signing off.